Now, on to another volatile region, Iraq. The United States and Britain are planning for a potential evacuation of the thousands of Yazidi refugees trapped on a mountain in northern Iraq. The U.S. has sent 130 military advisors to northern Iraq to assess its options. For more on this, we go to CCTV White House correspondent Jessica Stonehays in our Washington newsroom. Jessica, what exactly will these advisors be doing?
Well, they will be these 130 U.S. Marines and Special Forces, ASIA. They are not going to Iraq in a combat role. They are there to assess whether or not the U.S. can send in more troops to create a passage for the Yazidis to safely evacuate Mount Sinjar in northern Iraq. The White House says that decision will come in a matter of days. Now, meantime, of course, the Islamic State militants have been keeping these Yazidi refugees trapped for days now. We know that more than 20,000 have escaped to Syria, but there's not even a good estimate on how many remain there on the mountain. That's also a task for these military advisors. The U.S. has conducted at least 6 military strikes to protect civilians specifically from IS. Separately, the United States has also dropped more than 100,000 meals and 27,000 gallons of water on the mountain. But the U.S. does not believe that aid drops are a permanent solution, and it says the Kurds and other international partners would be a key part of any evacuation plan. It is also worth noting, Asia, that though the U.S. president continues to say he will not send American troops into a combat role in Iraq, the work is still very dangerous that is being proposed and is even being conducted right now, and there are now close to 1,000 American troops in Iraq.
Jessica, you've got the humanitarian crisis on one side, you've got the political power struggle in Baghdad with Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki being defiant, technically refusing to step down. Let's listen to his weekly address.
It is a constitutional violation. It is a conspiracy being hatched inside and outside the country. We cannot surrender to such a constitutional breach, which has got a huge encouragement.
So now he's calling it a constitutional breach. What is the White House saying about all this?
Well, they're not reacting very well, Asia. They haven't been a fan of Maliki for some time now, as you know. And what is interesting here is we're actually seeing two longtime adversaries, Iran and the U.S., actually on the same page when it comes to who should lead Iraq. Have a listen.
Now, with the appointment of the new Prime Minister of Iraq, we hope that Iraq will come out of this dead-end situation, and hopefully a government will be formed and they can work and give a necessary and appropriate answer to the seditionists who intend to cause destruction and divisions in Iraq.
This is the one process that is consistent with the Iraqi constitution that is going to lead to a new government, and he needs to respect that process, let it go forward, because frankly, this is not being imposed on anybody from outside of Iraq.
And Asia, Iran and the U.S. are among many pushing Maliki to step down, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the European Union. All along, the White House has maintained that its military strikes and humanitarian aid in the north of the country, as well as those from regional partners, are only really to buy time for the Iraqi government to form and fight the Islamic militant group IS on its own.
All right. Thank you so much, Jessica Stone, on all fronts in Iraq.